going on? Welcome back to the channel. How's it going? How's your day been? Are you wearing a jungle hat? Yep. Don't take yourself too serious, son. Know what I mean? Sometimes you've got to sit on a Sunday afternoon in your house with a jungle hat on while you do the pots. That's how it goes down. You know what I'm saying? Right. How was your day? What have you been up to? Did you get the wins in? Just stay at this dog, man. Wish I could turn this camera around and just show you how pathetic this dog looks. Like this, lying on the floor. Just looking at me, being a weirdo. Right, André Onana has agreed to go to Turkey on loan. Effectively, I think probably ending his Manchester United career. I reckon that is that, and I reckon that was that sealed the second he decided to knock on the door and ask for a, well, what we're assuming is a pay rise, which I think it probably was a pay rise. Can I go back on the money that I lost us? No. So yeah, that's that. Do you think it'll be the last one of the window? I'm not entirely certain it'll be the last one of the window, to be honest with you. Or, you know, whatever. Well, like one of the bushwhackers from WWF, they wish. 20k hike in the bag this morning, mate. Nice. Got to see Steve McLaren's Reggae Boys live. Have I watched the Caribbean qualifiers? I've not, actually. I haven't, actually. Jad says, you're going to admit he's absolutely dreadful now or what? No, because I don't believe that's the case. Like, I think he's... been poor, but I think Bayındır is worse. Knight says, mate, if you want to chat about clickbaiting, how clickbaiting a toxic rumour isn't what you think it is, we can, but blocking me for calling you out. Look, you chat shit on Twitter, I ain't got time for it. I'm just going to fuck you off. And whatever you said, earned it, right? So there you go. That's that. Now, people have seen their ass with the topic of this morning's video. Now, the topic of this morning's video was based on an article I saw in El Nacional, which was translated via fucking Google Translate or whatever it was. I saw an article this morning. As I was fucking up at the crack of dawn, saw this article. Now, it's not exactly an unbelievable article, is it? That Marcus hasn't lit it up at Barcelona and that they're thinking of cancelling his loan and paying a fee for him, right? For starters, it ain't clickbait. Because clickbait would be telling you something and then not delivering on that, wouldn't it? Clickbait would be like me calling this, everyone gets a free fucking Ferrari, and then just sitting here and waffling shit about whatever. Like, I literally spoke about what was in that article. I literally referenced that article. How is it clickbait? Now, in hindsight, yes, if the article has turned out to have been a false article, then hands up, right? It happens. When I'm looking for news in the morning, I'm not also forensically looking about whether or not something's going to be disproven 15 hours later. The fact that Guillaume Balaguer had to come out and make a comment on it, and let's be honest, he's not exactly the fountain of all fucking truth, is he? Doesn't necessarily mean that the article didn't fucking happen. In fact, it backs up that the article was there. Now, it turns out El Nacional deleted their article. What do you want me to do? I spoke about something. Yamika says, hi Steve, I saw Jay wearing a plain Stretford Paddock jersey last week. Can't find it anywhere. It's not for sale yet. It will be soon. Alex says, is this more proof that Amarim and Ineos are in sync and that Amarim says get rid and Ineos say okay? I think it probably is, mate, to be honest. David says, 250 GTO, pff, you and me both, brother. Tomahawk says, is it right Onana's going to be earning around double his wage? I hadn't heard that. That's insane. Wolf says, go on, Steve. Wasn't expecting a late night live, but sorted now. I'm tidying. Jay says, sent you a message on Insta yesterday. I get a lot. I do try and reply to some, but it's fucking hard work, mate. Thanks for the fitness inspo. Made it back there again today. We are back to stack the wins. Love the content. Well done, mate. Nice one. See, Weber says 60,000 steps in between dog walks and 2 rounds of golf. Golf will do it for you, mate. Yeah. Who else do I think maybe moved on? I don't know. I feel like someone on the periphery of the squad, perhaps. I'm just not sure. Am I not cold? No. It's raining here, but it's pretty warm. Notch says stack the wins, and then the cheese slices, then the bacon, then the fried onions. Lovely. Amarim very ruthless. Connor says we need to get the midfielder in. Well, that's not going to happen now, is it? Until whenever. Steve says I was stacking the wins until at L yesterday, then decided to boot the stack over and sulk like a little bitch. Yeah, I sulked a little bit last night. It's one of them, innit? You're allowed to sulk on the day it happens. I think that's fine. Nice nightcap, Steve. Thank you. I love a floppy hat. I do. Malasia says Steve. Yeah, Malasia is a good shout, actually. Yeah. Ian says, big fan, Steve, late night. This is my first late night live. Love everything you do. Well informed and motivated, so thanks. Well, not that fucking well informed, was I? Because I got hoodwinked this morning by an article that turned out to be a load of old bollocks. But the reaction to it on some parts, like there's some guy, you are always going on Rashford, and you're like, motherfucker, make your mind up. I thought it was on his payroll about 2 months ago, so which one fucking is it? Why do people always have to see some sort of fucking agenda where there isn't one? Casemiro next for the move. I don't think so. I think we'd be a bit crazy to let Casemiro go, unless it was a really big financial offer for us, because we would leave ourselves short in midfield, and I don't think we want to do that. Mike says, I started on TRT 6 weeks ago after watching your video with Manuel. Best decision I've made on 47. Well in, lad. RA has come to support the channel. It's not Ruben Amarim, is it? Welcome. Courtney says, 10,000 steps takes me 3 hours walking. Really? That's fucking slow, that. I mean, uphill maybe. I mean, 10,000 steps for me is about 10k. Very, 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 very close is my kilometers to my steps, like. So 3 hours, that's a long fucking time for 10k. I mean, if you get motoring, you do it in 90 minutes, an hour and a half. If I fuck about, make videos, stand in a fucking place, I think I've got signal to upload it, we're talking 2. 3 hours is pretty fucking leisurely, like. Especially flat. See, Webber, have I ever gotten into golf? It seemed like it'd be far too slow paced for you. 1,000,000%, right? I only just about tolerate fucking football because you get to smash people. Like, I like rugby league and MMA and jiu-jitsu and fucking violence. So, golf, snooker, darts, anything that requires finesse, no, not for me. RA says we're top of the league on XG and crosses in the box. It is Ruben Amarim, confirmed, by the way. That's it, yeah. Ruben Amarim has just become a member of the channel. Am I a milk bag water type of guy? What? Why does that feel like an insult? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Am I a milk bag water type of guy? What could that mean? What could I mean? What do I think about Shutter Island? I think it's a fucking great film that absolutely cooks my head. I'm still not entirely sure that he isn't actually an agent. Maybe I'm being thick with that. Josh says, you know the Brits wore the red coats not to get distracted by blood in battles. The French wore yellow or brown colours for the... Oh, come on, man. I know that's true with the boxing gloves. I actually didn't know if that was the case for the red coats in battle, to be honest. Then why the white trousers? And by the way, white trousers for combat troops is fucking nuts, innit? What are we doing now, by the way? JD King says, love the morning walk videos, become part of my morning get shit done routine. Conspiracy video was brilliant. Need more about my life. You can tell it's an international break, can't you? We've got to do mad shit like that. Steve says, if Lammens is no better than Bayındır, then there's no reason not to start him. One good point, mate. Yeah, fair enough. Oh shit, where's all that messages gone? Lost them all. We may have solved the problem, but the problem still exists. That feels like Manchester United the last 10 years, that, doesn't it? Buffy whatever says 10,000 steps is 5 miles. Someone says it's 7.5k. That's about 5 miles. Yeah, I get 10,000 done in about 10k, to be honest. I think I finished one the other day and it was like 9,825 steps or something for 10k, and I literally remember looking at it and went, Paul says, Steve signed up for Patreon 2 days ago. Credit to all the work and content you put out. Also come to Hyde to watch you play for the first time. Unlucky result. Oh, I appreciate the support, multi-level support with that. I know there was a good few people that came down to Hyde yesterday. Really appreciate all you guys coming down, trying to make it a thing. It'll only become it'll only work the more people get down there, and the more people get down there, the better it is. Once we start getting into the several hundreds down there, you'll make a bit of a din. And it'll make all the difference. It'll be intimidating for the opposition. The players will grow to fucking love it. It's awesome. It's awesome. But we'll get there. We will get there. And it'll also help once we start getting... I mean, we've got a Members' Day on the 20th of September, so in 2 weeks, that's when we're hoping to get a few down. It's against an opposition that usually bring a few down. So... hopefully, we'll have a decent crowd down, and we can start to grow it from there, I think. How many breaks would I take on a Stairmaster in an hour? None. I haven't been on a Stairmaster in a minute, though, to be fair. The last time I went on it, it fucking killed me. It is one that you absolutely have to keep up with, for sure. 10 Big Hikes. It's a great name, by the way. Evening, Steve from Ontario, Canada. Hope you are well. Thank you, my mate. Ian Pulaski says, sausages, mate. What? Is that in relation to the fucking... the milk? What the fuck that one was before? Was it the milk, the bag, or the bottle? What the fuck? I don't fucking know. I can't remember what it was now. Morrigan says, HD, you and the lads at Paddock have been inspiration to me and wanting to pursue United content. Good luck. As a Yank, is there anything I can do to not come across as daft? I mean, there's plenty of people from around here that are fucking daft, mate. Just be you. Don't try and do anything else other than be you. Like, I can't imagine how exhausting it is playing a fucking character. And you know, you're going to drive yourself nuts if you're trying to play a fucking character all the time. So I would say just be you and see where it gets you. Not even close enough to being cool enough to play golf. Yeah, I'll go with that. Ross says, remember when you and Joe had that face-off playing golf and with Bagley on the golf course? Yep. So... actually, I am an undefeated golf champion, if you want to get technical. Did DB Cooper make that jump? I reckon so. Moz Does Outdoors says, don't slag golf off. It's a fucking pub game played on a really big... outdoor table. Am I a juice box flag type of guy? Right, there's clearly some fucking joke I'm not getting here now. Thoughts on beans on tuna on your spuds from a North American perspective? It's atrocious. I've had it. Tuna, bean, and cheese on a potato does the trick. Noah says, what do I think of Sturridge was drinking with his Gerrard comment? So for those that aren't initiated, Daniel Sturridge, in real life, said, I don't think anyone's achieved at one club what Steven Gerrard did. So on the post I saw, I replied to it saying, actually, hear him out. I think you're right. Now, in my opinion, nobody has been as praised as Steven Gerrard has been for doing as little at their club. So he's right. Is it a full moon this weekend? There's a lot of madness. It makes sense, wouldn't it? Oh, making tea. Milk in a cup first, tea bag, then water after. What? No. Tea bag goes in first, then the water, then the milk. Oh, you know, how are you going to get the milk right after? Like, you know, no, the milk goes in last. Fucking hell, lads. Give milk first. Don't you have a video on a driving range with Anton or someone? Yeah, it's me and Ash. Me and Ash was going doing all sorts just because we're a pair of bellends. And it's an opportunity to go and do some shit. Daniel Berry says, tuna and beans sounds like something an undercover alien might put together to try and blend in. I used to have tuna and bacon from Subway, and it was sensational. Did we use Right Robbie as a home ground at one point? Not as a home ground, no, but we did play games there. Or did we use it as home ground? I think we might have used it there when Droylsden wasn't available. Possibly. Del Piero or Totti? For me, Del Piero. Notch says, professional chefs can do it with the milk first. Special powers. Mulraven says, got to admit, I think Ineos have really backed Ruben with a clear out, albeit it's taken time. They said 1 to 2 seasons if he don't perform, they are gone, and they have been true to their word. I agree. Speak says more big names leaving, more unknowns coming in Lammens and that. Amarim did a similar at Sporting. 25 players out the door first 12 months. Club's been behind as they were Sporting. Good signs. I got a video which I think, I mean, it's going to be a spicy edit. It ended up being like a 32-minute long video, which is me explaining, I recorded this on Friday, is me explaining the differences between Glasner's Crystal Palace and Amarim's United in terms of the way that both shapes work. There are major differences and there are a lot of similarities. I think there's a very, very simple tweak which would make a significant difference to us, to be honest with you. We'll see if we can do it. Should be out tomorrow, I think. Am I wearing hiking boots or trail shoes for my morning hikes? Got 3 peaks coming up Friday, not sure what to wear. I would start with what's the weather and which 3 peaks is it? Is it the Yorkshire 3 peaks or is it the National 3 peaks? So the National 3 peaks, despite taking 24 hours, I believe it would be longer. Sorry, despite taking longer, I believe is easier than the Yorkshire 3 peaks. The Yorkshire 3 peaks is going to take you 9 to 12 hours and you're going to do it in one sitting. That's all of that time on your feet. I don't think you can go for running trainers, but I also think sometimes hiking boots, depending on what you're doing, how active you're being, what your movements are, and comfort level required, can sometimes not be the right thing as well. I think for something that's an endurance event, you might want to go with like a trail trainer. That might be a better fit. Something that's got good tread. Maybe ankle support, maybe not. Don't always need it. But something that's going to be a little bit more comfortable than a hiking boot. Not to say that you can't get comfortable hiking boots. I got about fucking 12 pairs and they're all different. And I rotate in and out of them, partial for novelty, sometimes just for fucking about, in all honesty, like just because I need to freshen things up sometimes. And all of them kind of have a different impact on your feet depending on what you're doing. Andrew says, long ass walk, Yorkshire 3 peaks. Yeah, it is. 10 Big Hike says, I'd like to see Leisha tried in the sitting holding mid roll. I've got a video coming out which is planned for, it's actually planned for October, about as far away as we've ever planned a video. But it's to coincide with when he comes back, answering the question of whether or not he can play in the 6. Josh says you'll need some proper comfy boots for the actual free peaks. You'll want that ankle support. I would, but because of plantar fasciitis, I would go with comfort. But yeah. Steve says it would take you 36 hours just in the Land Rover. Yep, 1, correct. 2, that's unfair. But I wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, maybe we'll do it as a Patreon group. I mean, I have recently rebranded the Patreon group to be called the Inner Circle, and today I actually launched the Telegram group for it. So if you're a Patreon now, you can get a little bit more updates. Patreon feels very formal, and it's a website or an app that you have to log into. Bit of a nose. So today I added a Telegram group to it. I also created a broadcast list on Instagram, which won't quite get the same sort of stuff, but it'll get updates anytime I do a video. If you're interested in that sort of thing, go and just, it's on my stories, click join and you're in. But a Patreon one, I feel like there might be some interest. Like, I know a lot of people are joining the Patreon now for the fitness updates, and we're going to deliver loads of that. And that's one of the goals with this Telegram group that we've launched as of today. So if you're interested, there's a link in the description. Come and fucking get in a mixer. One of the things I'm going to be doing in there is just sharing the stuff I've done, whether that is, you know, the Whoop metrics from my walk or the Strava stuff. I don't like people following me on Strava because I'll often do a run or a hike from my house. I'm not fucking doxing myself, so we can do, you know, the Whoop data, if not the Strava data, on Telegram. I'm certainly not going to be posting it to my fucking Instagram story. But I want to sort of like create a bit of a community that's supporting each other, which is what I'm thinking this Telegram group's going to be. So if you're interested, come and fucking join in. There's quite a few people that have joined it already. I'm sure more and more will join that are patrons that haven't seen the email that went out today and will come and check it out. But I'm thinking we probably go and do something like that as a group together, you know, and we'll just fucking, we'll plan a day and we'll get out there and we can have a little bit of a meet up and just go and fucking attack the mountains and do it between us. The Yorkshire one's probably the easiest to organise because there's a start and end spot and just fucking get yourselves there. The national ones, to do it as a group's a little bit more difficult because, for obvious reasons, you've got to get from Scotland through England into Wales. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of logistics that are involved in that. The wife's in the chat. She says good evening, and I bet she's going to say tell everyone about how the IRL Fest. So Janine is currently in the process of finalising everything for IRL Fest. That's going to be an awesome weekend getaway in Castleton, in Edale. Where we do some hiking, we've got some survival stuff coming. There's you know, food, live entertainment. There's a tour of a mine. It'll be mega. All of that stuff is in Patreon. You'll find it all in there. Josh says, have I apologised for waking up Janine this morning yet? I don't think I woke her up this morning. But I typically wake her up in the morning when I get up, which is why I shared that. I thought it was a funny meme. Janine just replied to it saying rude. Steve, I've not blocked you. You must have fucking blocked you. Sign up on a different account if that one's gone. I've not blocked anyone on Patreon. John says, I'm impressed with Amarim for game management and emotional outbursts during matches. I'm not impressed with Amarim for game management and emotional outbursts during matches and post-match interviews. Happy to be proven wrong. My ego isn't more important than the interests of the club. Martin says, am I a sock, shoe kind of guy? No, I'm sock, shoe. Are people walking around with a fucking shoe on without a sock or a shoe on the other foot? Mental. Matt says, any idea why loads of players are breaking scoring records for their national teams? Even Marino's netted 3 for Spain tonight. Because international football's turd. That's why. Is Ronaldinho's peak higher than Messi and CR7's? The same thing you said about R9. No. He was far more entertaining. But I don't think his peak, in terms of raw effectiveness in games, was anywhere near as either R9, Cristiano, or Messi. I think people will turn up to watch Ronaldinho about as much as any of those. But in terms of like being scared about playing them, I think he's lower down on the list than all those guys. Josh says, if you're a sock shoes sort of person, you need to be on some sort of register. Yeah, because if you're fucking doing that, why do you then put your jeans on one leg and then go sock and shoe? So you've got your whole jean, no sock, no shoe on the other leg? You fucking lunatics. What are you doing? Daniel says, Steve, been doing a carnivore diet on and off for some months now. What's my thoughts on it? As it seems to be a good quick weight loss, but you seem to put it back on easily. You probably put it back on easily because what you're doing is getting rid of all of the fucking carbs in your body because you're just eating your protein and fat with meat, right? So the second that you start eating carbs, your body fills back up with all of the glycogen. That carbs hold 3-4 times their weight in water, something like that. So you're probably going to lose a lot of fat and you're probably going to gain a lot of water weight when you start eating thingies again, I reckon. Nero says, what's my thoughts on lemons? We will find out. We will find out. Yeah, Josh says, like putting your t-shirt and big coat on and then putting your boxers and trousers on. Yeah, fucking maniacs, honestly. What's my thoughts on Rangnick's supposed list of Diaz, Isak, Casado, etc., and then the club completely ignored him and signed all Ten Hag's picks? I don't know if that's true. It fucking wouldn't surprise me if it was. Mike says, my lad's team lost 5-1 today. New formation, new position. He's not happy. Any advice? How old is he, for starters? Because if he's fucking 8, tell him to stop being a little bitch. If he's 18, tell him to stop being a little bitch. Ultimately, I think people get hung up far too much on results in youth football. Are they making progress? Are they enjoying it? If the answer to those things is yes, unless you're losing 20-0, then the result isn't really a fucking drama, I don't think. Although I think they do enjoy it more if they're winning, that being said, but you got to be challenged. Gaming Midget says, isn't it a relief that Amarim and Ineos are just... Oh, he's gone, he's deleted his comment. Didn't look like a mental comment either. No one. Miles says that Ollie Rangnick transfer list is reaching LVG third season level of hypotheticals. But it is genuinely reaching Arsene Wenger's I could have signed fucking levels, isn't it? Wolf, boxers, socks, shirt, pants, and whatever else. Shoes last, surely. Well, I'm assuming you mean coat last after shoes, but yeah. I mean, what's the most fucked up way you can think of doing it? Trouser leg, or boxers, trouser leg. Do you put both legs in your boxers or do you leave that out and all? Jesus, tie on first. Stu says, evening, stay up to paddock. Great to see so many new members and supporters at yesterday's match. Dan says, every team gets battered every now and then. You learn from the defeats. Do you butter the floor, then throw the bread on it? Buffy says, do you know what Hyrox stands for? Google it. Fuck's sake. Do you know, Jay Cal sends me that every fucking day. And all I know is now that his algorithm is, I think he's sitting there searching for Hyrox to fuck with me, right? Allegedly, Hyrox stands for hybrid rockstar. I just think it's a made-up word. I think, for me, I think they've looked at, like, something to do with hybrid and oxygen or something like that, because it's like, oh, do you like, you know, because it's fucking hard work on the lungs. I think it's just a made-up fucking word. Like Hoover or something. Aren't all words made up? You know what I mean? I don't think it's like an amalgamate. I don't think it means hybrid rock star. Because there's an X on it, for starters. Innit? Hoover is a brand. Yeah, and so's Hyrox. You know what I mean? Zeus, do I read my Patreon messages? Yes. There's a lot joined recently, though, so I might have missed one. Man says, it is actually a combination of hybrid Rockstar. Worst thing about the sport, to be fair. I'm going to need someone on record to clarify that. And not be joking. H says, been following you for a while, normally bang on, but had a stink with my stance on Onana. So explain to me what my stance is on Onana then. Because my stance has been, he's not been as bad as people are making out, which is factually fucking bang on accurate, because people have been calling him either the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League, and he ain't, or the worst goalkeeper United have ever had, and he ain't, because he's not even the fucking worst goalkeeper at the club fucking today. So factually, there you go. That's my stance on him. Would I replace him? Yes. My stance is literally, he's not been as bad as being made out. Johan says, I'm the one and the only manager for the problem we face right now is Ruben Amarim, and a solution giver possible. Ben says, really appreciate the morning vids. Been a constant motivator for me in a busy schedule. United content is class. Wish you all the best. Thank you. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about tomorrow. Maybe I'll find a made-up article in El Nacional and fucking incite rage on Twitter again. Who knows? Maybe I'll just call it Morning Mate. How's that sound? Diamond says, I like Onana, but the whole story about knocking on the gaffer's door about his contract cracks me up. Like I said on the podcast with the lads, I hope he was sat next to, like, Ahmad. Because I could see Ahmad being a proper little wind-up merchant, me. And I could see him sitting there. Lads in teams, 90% of what they chat about is trying to wind each other up, right? And I would imagine, I can imagine, I don't know if this has happened or not, but I can almost imagine that this is the fucking one where they've gone, hey, do you like we all lost the Champions League money? Well, we've all just been and seen the gaffer, and we just asked him for it back and he's give it us. And I reckon he's fucking steamed up there and gone and knocked on the door and been like, hey, can you get me Champions League money? And he's fucking lost it. Can I talk about the possibility of a wormhole suddenly appearing and aliens flying out of it? Oh my God, it's far too late for that. Do you know how quickly R5's going to be here, lads? This season is a low-key awesome content. I actually like the pace of it. We need a bit of time to chat so we don't worry about it. Lee says £22 down since February. That's good work. That's like £1 a week. That's fucking bang on sustainable, mate, yeah. Get at least 10,000 steps in daily and getting breakfast out of my diet, slowly but surely getting there. That's the game, mate. Slow but surely. Ansham says, Steve, let's sleep. I'm fucking going in about 10 minutes. Don't worry about that. Bear Racist in the chat. They must be getting hidden for me. I'm not seeing it. I'll tell you what, though. There were fucking loads in the Jed Spence video yesterday, wasn't there? Oh, my fucking goodness. Some lines that I'm thinking are pure rage bait. NC says, who is it that Robbo told to go and knock on the gaffer's door to talk about getting a Ferrari? Was it Giggs? I don't think it was getting a Ferrari. I think it was getting a club car, which probably would have been a Ford Escort at the time. How times have changed. Reports that Onana is getting a pay rise at Trabzonspor. Is he just a mercenary? I'm going to have to look into those. I am going to have to look into those. Fucking hell. Tino says, do I think we'll end up with a positive goal difference this season? Can't remember the last time we had that. At least +5. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. For tomorrow's what? Bouncing back from disappointment. I'll put, don't click. This is clickbait or something. Where do I recommend watching the game next week in Manchester with some fans? Ooh, good shout. Genuinely, fucking, I wouldn't. Town's a nightmare on Derby Day. Town is a fucking nightmare on Derby Day. I haven't been out in town on a Derby Day if I didn't have a ticket for a long time because it inevitably goes off. Here's where I wouldn't watch it. Any Weatherspoons, right? Nag's Head's probably not a bad shout, but I would refrain from saying the Nag's Head or Mulligans because I would just expect it to be fucking double mega rammed. It will be a good atmosphere in there, though. Anonymous Nobody says, squad is as is. Where do we finish? I'm calling 5th. Honestly, don't think we're as bad as the team has looked. I could fuck with that, yeah. James McCormick says, Red Square. Have they booked Red Square? Should have a Stretford Paddock pub be coining match day. Am I a fan of the Interstellar movie? Yes. Doesn't mean I understand it, though. Don't fucking get giddy with that. I'm a big fan of the Interstellar movie, yeah. I'm trying to get Janine to watch it, but it's far too real for her, I think. She's not enough dragons and fucking lunatics in it. Do I think that there is a definite progress on the pitch and that players aren't taking their chances? Fine margin, trust the manager. No, I think there's still glaring errors. We are not taking our chances, but there's still also glaring errors. My favourite player from the past, I wish United signed. Favourite player from the past, I wish United signed. Underrated player that I wish United signed. So not fucking Batistuta then. Favourite player from the past, I wish United had signed. We could have done worse than signing my mate Ash, couldn't we? You think about some of the fucking turds we had at centre half. Post Fergie. He's saying underrated, so not your mega superstars. In terms of superstars, Batistuta, R9. But yeah, in terms of... No, underrated. He's talking like mad fucking unknowns. Maldini and Gaza aren't unknowns, you fucking maniacs. Inception is mind-blowing. How biblically incredible would Antonio Valencia be in this team? Unreal. Dembele's a good shout, you know. Other than the players whose contracts expire, who do you think will go next summer? I think there's a good chance of Bruno, yeah. I think there's a good chance of Bruno. Tony Yeboah, shout. Evening, Steve. Just got home. Been loving the morning vids. Cheers for those. No problem. How nice is the blue paddock kit? It's good. Didn't have a great debut in the hooped red and black one yesterday, but it does look good. My thoughts on calisthenics. Do them every morning. Good for you. Where is the talk Maguire was signing a new contract? Don't know. Surely Shaw will go at some point. I mean, at this point, you've got to almost respect his ability to just not get fucked off, haven't you? Ian says, I'm excited about Nolan's next one, Odyssey, Heaton, Greece, Armies and Monsters. Next summer can't come quick enough. I saw F1 the other day. Low-key, just stuck it on because I saw it advertised and I was like, go on, let's see what this is. Nolan doesn't usually miss, does he? I mean, even Dunkirk was fucking sensational. Janine says, I designed the Navy one this year. Steve did the red and it's cursed. It's not cursed, is it? The fucking midfielder passed the ball to each other, we'd have been all right. Listen, we had enough chances to win the game yesterday. We just didn't take them. We also didn't deserve to win yesterday, but we did have the chances despite not deserving to win. I think the opposition maybe had 3 or 4 shots. Scored 2. Happens. Do I think Amarim can succeed in a 2-man midfield in the Premier League, or should he adapt, which he won't? Yes, you can succeed. There is check the video coming out tomorrow when I look at Glasner's system. Stephen Harris says, if you get Vivienne Westwood to design your kit, then you get her husband to design the year after if she's too busy. Diamond says, Janine, that's 3 in 3, smashing the kit designs, well done. How far is my walk to the gym? It can be a mile, but I make it 2 to get the... So then I end up doing 5k between the walk there and home, and then well, I ran 5k in there today, and I'm probably only going to do 3 runs this coming week, but I like to try and do... I got it to the point earlier in the year before I got fucking injured, where 5k runs had literally become my warm-up, and I got my VO2 max into the mid-50s, which I was pretty happy with. It was pretty good. And I need to get it back there, because since not being able to run, it's just absolutely fucking fell off. Noah says, pre-order the away kit. Looks amazing. Hope the sleeve isn't too tight this year. It is still tight. It's not as bad. Janine says, it's good, wasn't it, George? I hope more people watch the Howson podcast. They're really interesting. Oh, I guess she's talking about the podcast stuff. Yeah, for those that have been asking, if you've only just clicked on the link that we sent out 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, when we said the kits are available for a 1-week pre-order, the clue's kind of in the name. It was available for a 1-week pre-order. After that pre-order is over, they're now being ordered and they're now being made. So you'll have to just hang fire. Janine will have ordered, based on what we sell previously, a little bit of overage. Once they all have arrived, we will start to send them out. Bougie B says, I feel like you hate Bayındır, but from what I have observed, Bayındır is better than Onana. Without being rude, mate, I'm going to assume you watch games with your eyes closed. Because Bayındır is not better. I think he looks better with his distribution. He looks quicker with his distribution. But in terms of his ability to stop shots, we've literally faced 20 shots and he's let 12 of them in. He's not better. He hasn't shown us he's better. What's my favourite war film? Zero Dark 30. Who's in advantage with the 2-week break? Pep Guardiola or Ruben Amarim? Neither. Defoe would have been sweet. Defoe probably would have been sweet. Stephen Harris says, Onana versus Bayındır is like deciding which knacker to be kicked in. Dak says, we were soldiers. We were soldiers has got some fucking legendary lines in it. Carl says, Band of Brothers, best series, without a shadow of a doubt. One of my mates, Saul, ran up it yesterday with weight and got to the top in 29 minutes. So if you're watching Saul, you're a fucking animal. I'm not sure what unit it was with. It would have been with 16-hour assault. I don't know which unit specifically that they were with. But they did something yesterday where they ran up Currahee, where me and Jay ran up. I can't remember how long it took me and Jay. It was not fucking 29 fucking minutes. Saul was gutted he came second. But that's hard work, that is. The heat, the humidity, and the incline at the top was nasty. Brian says, am I happy with the way United are playing, chance creation, etc. compared to last season? Fucking hell, yeah. Last season was just depressingly bad. Aran says, as an ex-military man, did I have any post-traumatic experience after the military? What, do you mean anything that's happened to me after the military? No. I do have PTSD from the military, which I don't think actually affects me on a day-to-day basis. Not a fan of bonfire night, I'll tell you that for free. Janine suggested, we've just become members at Chatsworth House, and Janine was like, oh, should we come to some of the events here? Oh, we should do bonfire night. And I was like, yeah, probably not. Cantona was dropped after 93 and didn't want to return. 93, wait, what? What have I missed there? Is that after, is he talking about international team? Sam says Generation Kill was decent too. Band of Brothers is standard. Nova Series met to date. Correct and correct on Generation Kill. The often overlooked. Why Bonfire Night? Because of fucking fireworks. I don't like fireworks. Am I on I'm a Celeb? No. Oh, you mean the hat and the background? Yeah, good point, well made. Should have fucking seen that through. How have I dealt with PTSD? I didn't for a long fucking time because I had therapy, was told I was okay, with the army, by the way, and the army tells everyone it's physio. So much for fucking, it's good to talk. It's not good to talk. It's good to shut the fuck up and get on with it, apparently. So because I had therapy that they said I was okay, I kind of just went, well, I'm okay, so just leave it. Clearly wasn't the case. And it was therapy with the Military Veterans Service, and it was very good. And actually, I can't remember what we spoke about or anything. It just fucking worked. Dahl says, do like American Sniper as well. Yeah, the problem with American Sniper is you know that the fucking entire thing's based on a book that was entirely fiction. Steve M says, what's the worst war film? My vote goes to Pearl Harbor. It's got Kate Beckinsale in it, so it's not getting a bad vote. Jared is good as well, I'll give you that. Have you seen Midway? Battle of Midway? That's fucking dog shit. Thoughts of Act of Valor? I haven't seen it. Have I seen Warfare? Yeah, it was good. Enclave says, which war films are similar to Warfare in terms of realism? The American Iraq War one. Kajaki's not bad, except there's a couple of moments in it where you kind of go, that's not entirely accurate, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Do you know what's a really fun military film, which is just nonsense because it's about fucking werewolves, but it's a fun film, is Dog Soldiers. I really like Dog Soldiers. Enemy at the Gates is underrated. Agree. Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down's very watchable. You must see Act of Valor. They have real retired SEALs as actors. Yeah, but isn't it just a fucking advert for the Navy SEALs? Jeremy says, Black Hawk Down is fun to go back and see how loaded the cast is. Oh, it's a sensational cast, yeah. It's absolutely sensational. Lone Survivor's good. Lone Survivor's good, except, again, it's just entirely fucking fiction. It's not how it went down. John says, honestly, please talk about this more in the future. It's so important that blokes know it's okay to talk and feel shit. Doesn't make them weak. Takes courage to face your fears and insecurities. I'll be real with you, I didn't want to do it. I kind of got fucking forced into doing it by Janine and my mum. Khalid says, a Somali Black Hawk Down on Netflix documentary was tough to watch. I fucking bet it was, mate, yeah. I bet it was, mate. Dak says, Behind Enemy Lines Despite Owen Wilson. Yeah, that's quite a fun film as well. Yeah. Platoon. Oh, Platoon is sensational. Platoon is one of my favourites. Janine says, but now you talk all the time. Every pod is a therapy session. It might be. What did I think of Ross Kemp's documentaries at the time? Thought they were cool. I thought the access that he got was really cool. Missed your super chat. One sec, let me have a look. Will the new stadium put United light years ahead of the rest? 100,000 seater. That's unreal. Imagine the gate receipts. I don't. It depends on how it's paid for, because if we're just spending 20 years paying it off, then we won't be light years ahead. But yeah. Jacob says, how can Jake Paul, brackets heavyweight, fight a lightweight? Great. Because they're not really fights, aren't they? Let's be honest. How many fines has Ronnie had for being on his fine so far? I actually don't think Ronnie's been fined, you know. There's some outrageous fines got dished out this week, though. I'll tell you that for free. Fucking hell. KO's basically... KO's getting taxed more than fucking HMRC at the moment because of his fucking lateness. Incredible. Have I watched Overlord? Doesn't ring a bell. Let me have a Google of it. (2018). No, I don't think I have actually. No. No. Any good? Arsenal thought the same thing, but spent the next 10 years selling their best players to keep up with repayments. Yeah. Band of Brothers, nothing beats it. Correct. Zero Dark 30 is decent. Zero Dark 30, I don't know what it is about Zero Dark 30, but I can put it on as background noise and just fucking let it roll. I really like it. Steve Harris says, I'm going to go fund me with KO'd. He can turn up when he likes. Oh, fucking hell. Operation Mincemeat's another great movie. Yeah, so we was talking about that a little bit on the brew on Friday about Operation Mincemeat, and you know, do you genuinely believe that the British intelligence services have just stopped doing that sort of stuff? Not a fucking chance. You know, not a fucking chance. And I was trying to think about what would that look like nowadays. Now it would be planting a phone, wouldn't it, with fake WhatsApp messages and Signal messages and emails, maybe some photographs of troops, geolocated, geotagged, stuff like that. Be very interesting to see how Operation Mincemeat 2025 would go down. Who would be the target of it? What would be the... So for those who don't know, Operation Mincemeat was trying to sell that we were going to land at one place and land somewhere else. So what would a 2025 version of that look like? And it couldn't be months and months in the planning. It'd have to be 24-hour execution because the news cycle of everything goes so fast with it all. Very interesting, I think. How can I get you to Rochester, New York? We have a United backers bar called the Boot Room. Would love for you to make an appearance. I don't know. I don't know. It's a fucking long way to come in it, and it'd be fucking expensive to cover a plane ticket, so I don't know. Maybe just see if we can line up where I'm not far away in the future. How would I sort out Ukraine? Would you see British feet on the ground? Well, to the second part of what you're saying, let's move on, because... Let's move on. To the first part of what you're saying, listen, I understand the Russian frustration with how close NATO is to its borders. Look how much America throws a fit at some of the things that other countries do. And there is nobody that has... I mean, look at the Cuban Missile Crisis was because Russia wanted to put something in Cuba, which was not America, and doesn't even... I mean, it's across the water, isn't it? So it's still a bit of a mooch to get there. And America threw an absolute wobble over the Cuban Missile Crisis. And then, from their perspective, NATO is America, America is NATO. You have basically every fucking country by Ukraine and Belarus that borders Russia is a NATO country. Like, I understand why Russia would be fucked up. That doesn't justify annexing Crimea. That doesn't justify annexing the Donbass. That doesn't justify going to war. I understand their frustration with having NATO on their doorstep, though. So, yeah, I think Russia's going to have to withdraw to sort it out. I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't know. Would I have liked to served in Northern Ireland? As a fucking Catholic Brit, no. Can you imagine a more fucked up gaff to go to for a Catholic fucking Mancunian British soldier than Northern Ireland? No. I would not have liked to have served in Northern Ireland. Now, we were talking about this as well, weren't we? The Troubles is such a funny name for a fucking civil war. Such a British way of naming it. But the goings-on of the Troubles, I find as absolutely fascinating. I find the intelligence angle on it fascinating. I find the boots on the ground experience of the soldiers fascinating. I find some of the hardships experienced by both Catholics and Protestants in the area absolutely fascinating. I think it's fascinating. I also think that there's incredible injustice done where the Good Friday Agreement allowed for people that had been convicted of straight up terrorism, fucking bombs that murder people, allowed to go free as part of that agreement. But then soldiers are being investigated for things that happened. There should have been an amnesty on both sides. If you're freeing people that have committed atrocities on one side, there has to be an amnesty on the other side. It makes no fucking sense for there to be that sort of disparity. But I also do believe in if you're going to be seen as being an army coming in to do stuff, there has to be the expression of being irreproachable in terms of your behaviour and conduct. Like, you have to investigate war crimes. You have to make sure that troops don't fuck about, because then you undermine everything that you're trying to do. But also, officers have an obligation to look after the lads and not throw them under the bus, because, my mate Jay was accused of war crimes, had his life put on hold for fucking several years after something that they knew at the time was a perfectly fucking authorised and legal action. But because someone else was under investigation for some other stuff, he saw that as an opportunity to be seen to do the right thing rather than actually do the right thing and protect his fucking men. And Jay ended up having his life put on hold for several years because of this investigation, which he has subsequently been cleared of. Kev says, we call it the Troubles here too, to be honest. Interesting to see your perspective. Josh says, the Troubles sounds like what you'd call a group of kids in detention. You know what I mean? Alex says, speaking of Black Hawk Down, Eric Banner was the lead in Untamed. Sent you a tweet telling you should watch it. How did you find it? I don't know if I have seen it. Wounded, that it'll be a year until season 2. I don't think I've seen it. Alan says, as an Irishman, I've always said if your beliefs are formed by the location of your birth, then you're not thinking for yourself. There's a lot of, it's not just the location of your birth though, is it? It's the fucking people around you and the culture and everything like that. Xander says, frustrated or not, Ukraine, as any other country, has the right to protect themselves by any means, including NATO. No, I get that. I totally get that. And that's why, there's not always a clear-cut answer to how you solve an issue. You have to think about how both sides are going to view this. Two wrongs don't make a right, and two rights don't make a wrong. Like, it's complex. There isn't a fucking straightforward, easy answer to that. Danny says, the Troubles is the Irish way of naming it, not the British. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. It sounds like a very British way of naming it. They call World War II the Emergency 2. What else have the Irish named? That was an absolute clusterfuck, and they give it a really fucking, like, homely kind of name. What's my memories of the Arndale in 96? I was playing in the Greater Manchester Youth Games, and we thought a building had been demolished. So that's at the Armitage Centre, which is off Oxford Road. It's pretty close to the city centre. Sounded like a building had been demoed. It was fucking loud, like. AJ Wright says, it baffles me the difference in what's taught in history classes in schools in England and Northern Ireland regarding the Troubles. I wouldn't be surprised, though. What do I think about steak knife in Northern Ireland? Again, fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And again, do you honestly think that British intelligence is not doing things like that right now? Italian Englishman says, our soldiers being investigated is a madness. Saw the podcast with Sean Ryan and felt so bad for that guy. I don't think people have a problem with investigations per se, and you shouldn't have a problem with investigations per se, but it's what brings about those investigations and why, especially when you know that there was nothing wrong. And when you've brought about an investigation because you're under investigation for something else, and it's almost like to distract from your own investigation and maybe make it's been done for political reasons rather than because you thought that something had been done wrong. Does that make sense? Like if they genuinely thought Jay had done something wrong and they investigated it honestly and earnestly like that, I don't think anyone, including Jay, would have had a drama with it. But when they knew that he hadn't, and it had been because that he was under investigation for some other stuff, that's a very different fucking atmosphere to being investigated, I believe, anyway. I mean, we will talk about that. He is going to come and do my pod at some point, but we just want to be, get the Stephen Howson podcast properly underway and bring him in when enough time has passed. Julia says, what's my training plan for Hyrox? So over the next 8 weeks or so, a lot of it involves the classes at Urban Reform. I'm going to try and get to 4 classes a week. Mondays is basically like a strength day for legs. Tuesdays is a 10K, and then it is going to get to a 2 a day. One class called Podium, one called Engine. They're both absolutely fucking killer. Wednesday's a bit of an endurance day, so maybe on the bike, maybe a hike, maybe a bit of a longer run. Thursdays is the beach muscles, so shoulders, chest, back, biceps, triceps, just to fill a t-shirt out a little bit and also have a bit of a rest. Fridays is a strength day, but for more explosive power, so there's some box jumps in there as well as deadlifts and things like that. And then there'll be a track once I'm able to run 8 to 10k without breaking. I'll be going to the Etihad track session on a Friday. Saturday then is a bit more SAQ stuff, so speed, agility, quickness, fast feet, a little bit of proprioception work. And then Sunday I do an operator WOD, which is like Murph or something, or I will be going to another Hyrox class on a Sunday. So that's the week. And then I've just bagged a ticket for Manchester in January, so should be fun. Today's version of Mincemeat would be perhaps giving false info to the Russians about how Ukraine attack and having it heavily defended, but Russia then hit somewhere else. Spiderweb was genius. Tom says, thanks for the chat. Oh, late to the chat. Spent most of the day editing 2 videos on my own. Honestly don't know how you pop out so many. Keep up the good work. Ta. Lee says, 125th year anniversary of the Royal Irish Guards yesterday. Bombers flying overhead were fascinating. Scary to think what the real deal would have been like, for sure. Gabriel says, am I the only one to see Liverpool capable of fumbling the title this season? Yeah, but to who? Shay says, Bisping on the pod would be brilliant. Could probably get him through Brendan, but he lives in America. So anyone who... We're trying to get people that live in the UK at the moment. Any plans to do a triathlon? Potentially an Ironman? Yes. I've sort of provisionally said yes to doing an Ironman in September next year at Weymouth. It's a 70.3. As I was told, that's not a real Ironman. It's still a fucking half marathon. With like 40 something, 50 something, or 40 something on a 48 fucking K or something on a bike or something. Hang on, let's have a look. Rather than just asking these fucking daft questions. Ironman 70.3. So it is 1.9K swim, or a 1.2. Let's do it in miles because that's where the 70 comes in. 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and a 13.1 mile run. Which means it's half the distance of the 2.4 mile swim that you do on a full, the 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run. That will be a full Ironman. A half Ironman will do for me, thank you very much. We'll do that in September next year. If my calf holds up. What was I doing when 9/11 hit? I was in college. Did it affect me in any way? Not massively, I don't think, no. But I knew my parents were about to go to New York to go and see some friends of theirs. They were going over for Thanksgiving in like 6 weeks' time. So it was very much known, and obviously they were glued to it when it happened, and then they obviously went over there, and you know they were in New York 6 weeks after what happened. Yeah. Dax says, missed my super chat earlier. Fuck's sake. And there's another one. There's a lot of chatting. Dax says, I know it's old news, but United winning the Europa and finishing 15th was unthinkable to a lot of pundits, and Tottenham winning it and coming 17th never gets mentioned. The double standards. It is Tottenham, though. Flano says, went to my first paddock game yesterday as I was in the area working pro football. Was interested to hear your thoughts. My thoughts, what, on the game? Did you listen to the thoughts on the game, or are you asking my thoughts on the game? I thought we showed, I think it was a game of two halves, actually. I think first half an hour or so, we were very patient with it. We created chances. We were creating loads of chances down the right. I don't know why the fucking left and right winger switched. That was under them. And I think we became quite ineffective after we did that. We stopped playing with a little bit of patience, and we started being a bit sloppy with our passes in midfield, and we didn't connect enough passes. We had some chances that if we'd have put away first, if we'd have scored the first goal, we'd probably go on and win the game, because I think the opposition come out. As soon as they had the first goal and was able to sit and counter, it really suited them. And ultimately, you know, we ran out of time at the end. There was a couple of chances that could have gone in, should have gone in towards the end, but we weren't good enough. Danny says the emergency was the official constitutional term for the war to align us as neutral, when in reality we quietly supported the Allies. How long do I reckon I'll continue YouTube for? Part of my daily routine, so would be sad to see you ever give it up. One of the reasons why we did the Howson podcast is because I can see myself doing that in 20 years' time. I don't know if I'll be doing 3 videos a day on United in 20 years' time. I don't know if I'll have the audience to be doing 3 videos a day on United in 20 years' time, or if everyone just wants 4-second videos by then. But the Stephen Howson podcast is something that's evergreen, something that I can see myself just doing. You know, I would probably like to continue doing some sort of United coverage, maybe not 3 times a day. Don't know how sustainable that is at 60, but we'll see. No plans to give it up right now, I don't think. Hit a milestone of 100 kg on a bench today. had pizza to celebrate. Someone told me that that's less than fucking 1% of people managed to do 100 kg bench press, which I thought was quite surprising, because I think surely anyone can get there with 5-6 months of training, surely. If we can buy Belaber in Jan, maybe get 2 players of his type of fee, Hackney and Humlin. I think we've settled for far too long. If these the guy, get the guy. Martin says, my stepdad is a retired London firefighter and was basically on a call-out list to go over to New York and help out recovery. He also was on clear up of the July bombings. Fucking hell. Madness. Do I think YouTube will exist or be relevant in 20, 30 years? Yes. I think it probably changes format. I do think it changes format. But I think it makes Google so much money that it would still be around. Mr. AC says, are we going to do a behind-the-scenes series for Paddock like a bunch of amateurs? Yeah, it's been something that we've been trying to do for a while. I would say yes. Stand by for that one. John says, dream special forces group I'd want to be in. The Increment. So my military ideal was never, I didn't want to do special forces. That didn't really interest me. I really liked soldiering, and the only things I'd ever heard of the special forces seemed to be a lot of covert stuff. But that's because I think maybe a lot of the books of, like, you know, the late 90s did focus on things in Northern Ireland, and that conflict never really excited me. Again, as a Mancunian Catholic, even though I'm more aligned to being an atheist, I am Catholic. My dog tags literally say Roman Catholic on them. You know, the thought of serving in Ireland, and certainly undercover in Ireland, did not fucking fill me with joy. Did not intrigue me in the slightest. And that's what I thought a lot of special forces did. Now, that was correct. Now, the GWAT changed that, and it did become a totally different job. Global War on Terror, Iraq, Afghanistan. Now, what I think would be a relatively interesting job at the moment is the Increment, E Squadron. So E Squadron is a blend of MI6 and SAS. It's a little bit like what used to be known as the Counter-Revolutionary Warfare Wing, or the Revolutionary Warfare Wing, or the Wing. And that's probably a bit more intriguing and fun. Flying from Philly to Boston, left Madrid earlier. I think I've listened to 12 hours of your voice today. Would love to speak to you directly. Fucking hell. Who was in the United Space on YouTube when we joined the old FTD crew with Gaz? No one. Who would I rather have on the pod? Sir Alex Ferguson or Goggins? Oh, come on, man, Fergie, all day long. Absolutely Fergie. But he'd have to agree to do like 15 hours with me, so he could actually cover about 2/3 of everything. Righty, I am going to go now because I'm tired and R5 is close. So cheers for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you all in the morning. We're going to start it bright and early. If you're interested in supporting the channel, very much appreciated. Come and join over on Patreon. The link for that is in the description. If you want to help stack the wins, if you want to get involved in all that good shit, then do that. If you're interested in getting on IRL Fest next year, that's in Patreon as well. Otherwise, take it easy, man. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.